Hey there, furries and sickos! Welcome to the Toy Chest. I'm about to show you what was once my favorite website of all time. The website of all time. I am, of course, referring to My Yahoo. Here it is. This is a personalized homepage. This is My Yahoo. This is how it's been set up. And I logged into this with my Google account. The setup looks a bit wonky. I'm sure this is the default layout, but I'm not certain. And with my Google account, it got some of my info, like the weather near where I live. I don't live in either of those two places, but I do live in Minnesota. Um, just not these two towns. And it's got a glance at my mail, my email, which I don't have set up here on purpose. It's got New York Times Health, some portfolio listings, news, Today panel, which apparently has the day's most important news. This is all today's news in a panel called Today, and a panel with Yahoo News with a button that says read more that goes directly to the website. That's what my Yahoo looks like now. It's even got the sports score. It's everything at a quick glance. It's sort of like at a glance for those of you with Android phones, where it says the weather and other crucial information like what music is playing and how much time to your next event, but you don't get a one screen summary like this anymore. If you get smart devices, it'll show you in sequential order, but you can't just look at one thing and say, oh, I know how well the Lynx did, and what the score is for the hockey team and the basketball team. Smartphones robbed us of this thing, and yet it's still there. I've always liked this, to have everything in one look that I can quickly go back to. I mean, look right now. This is my Yahoo in some funky looking browser. This, by the way, is Zen browser. Uh it's a different take on Firefox. But in the default layout of this, there's a button missing that was present in every browser about 10 years ago. Now it's no longer there. Like, you can mess with it in the settings and have it go to My Yahoo when Zen browser starts up. But people used to have pages like this. I believe MSN is still one of them. No, not that. Just MSN, which Microsoft and NBC had a deal, a thing. It's really fascinating how that name just stuck for some reason for MSNBC, the news network. This is MSN, Microsoft. And it's also everything in one screen, everything you need to look at. And there was kind of a downscaled version of this in the start menu of Windows 10, And there kind of is in Windows 11, which is why Microsoft wants you to sign up for an account. You can only change how this looks with the Microsoft account. And that sucks. It's the same with My Yahoo, but at least I have a pre-existing Google account. And I encourage you all to go ahead and play with this. Since you all have been watching this on YouTube, which is owned by Google, which is owned by Alphabet, which is oh yeah, your YouTube account is also your Google account. Feel free to try this, please. I'll be doing it right alongside you. Feel free to just listen for now while you're playing with this to what I'm doing and what my impressions are. Like, if you go to My Yahoo and click Add Content, you'll see that there's some applications. You can put a bookmark uh, section into My Yahoo. You know, what I personally do is I open AnyType, which is like a trapper keeper for all of my computers that I have circling around. Like, if I am taking notes on one instance of AnyType, it goes to my smartphone, it goes to my other laptop, that sort of thing. So I wouldn't really be using that, and it's not even enabled by default, so that's good. You can add your calendar and put that in your at a glance, which I will. Trending now. I don't really feel like that. I prefer searching for that. That's more fun. You can have different news sources, and these are all curated by Yahoo. And you get to pick what these are all about. Which ones you want to look at. For generic news, you have all of these sources. Nah, I'm not doing that, but I will do this. And a little of this, and a little of this, and a little of this. You can just add these to your heart's content. That's so great. Some tech pages. Oh, IGN still exists. I haven't been on that website in a while. Lifehacker. And the Yahoo News section for internet and travel news, tourism, like one page, quick glance. And if you're still not sure of what you need to be doing and how you need to approach it, this is how I treated it as a kid. I could just keep going further down and like, okay, enlighten me. Give me some guidance on what I should be doing with this computer machine where I can learn all the knowledge of mankind. Today, what should I learn today? And it's got tabs. It's good. But you need to sign in to do this. And I know there's a way that you don't have to, and you can still select some themes. Unfortunately, don't believe you can add your own here. But you can edit the layout. Uh, sure, 4 columns, large text, can't edit the font. And I'd like to add some content. Now, what I don't see here is sources I want, like the Star Tribune, NPR, MinnPost, the Minnesota Reformer. There's an online newspaper for my specific suburb of Minneapolis. Not here. And there used to be a trick to make that work. Would you like to see it? I can still show you. Here's a quick little hint. Alright, so if I go to nprnews.org, not every website does this anymore, and there are workarounds for sites that are not compatible that you can get on your own, but let me hit the end key, go to the bottom of the page, and right here, you'll notice this icon that used to be in Firefox. It used to be a Firefox feature that was enabled by default and would show up here, but now it doesn't do that anymore. If I click that, there's some RSS feeds. These are the links to different sections of NPR News. And since I'm a politician, let me just copy that link to Capital View and see if I can enter that URL in the add content section. So that is a web way of viewing RSS as part of a single one glance setup. But there's another way you can get to this without having to open your browser at all and get this information. And yes, that does include the horoscope. And what I'm going to test it with is NPR News Science. I'm a man of science. I'm a man of computers. What can I say? I mean, that's the closest thing I've seen to tech section in newspapers in a long time, and news sites. Now let us hop aboard and discover the magical world of Akregator. I installed this as a flat pack, and what more can I say? There it is. That's Akgregator. I could get you a bit of a better look here. That's the whole app. But it can do stuff. Quick look around the interface, you can see that this is the default screen for Akgregator, and this is where I'll show that off in a moment. And if I go to all feeds, it'll have some of these feeds with little things to read and information of kinds. I don't know how these all ended up in this application, but I guess this is where documentation gets dumped in to my computer and I can see it. This is the KDE feed. All the information that's being spat out of there. But what if I wanted to do this? What if I wanted NPR Science? I'm a little afraid of this going into the wrong place. And as you can see, it's giving me some options. It's Linux. Linux is designed to give you options. So, with NPR Science, that's the name. Section name, source name, that's fine. There's the URL that links to the RSS page. Comment. I don't want to be completely annoyed with notifications of new things all the time. Thank you very much. I will keep all the articles. Load the full website is fine. And mark. I want to be able to see whether or not I read. So I will not mark articles as read when they arrive. They'll be marked read when I read them. Hit OK. Okay, so not the full web browser. There's a way to get to it. All right. I am going to go. This is what I was afraid of. It put it in the wrong place. So delete that and put that up into all feeds. Not KDE. Not these sources. I don't need that right now. And there is a catch-all for KDE apps to put their documentation in as an RSS feed. That's really cool. Today I learned something, and there's articles from Linux.com. And I could read one of them from here. And it opens its own little browser, and there we go. Kind of. Oh, yeah, that's an article, all right. Let's look at another, and it even gives me the logo of NPR right there. NPR News. Hey, that's pretty cool that I can read all that. Let me just get out of the way here and show you a little more of this. That seems pretty readable, right? And if not, I can do a Control Plus. This is the most recent article on NPR Science. A 13,600-year-old mastodon skull is unearthed in an Iowa creek. Blue Sky, however, continues to rise in popularity. But here's the real news. They found a mammoth skull in Iowa. The most recent article is from Iowa on Minnesota Public Radio News. They caught this from NPR. I think a lot of these are like that, but some could potentially originate from the NPR news division, which gives information to both American public media and NPR, which are put together all of public radio in the United States. And it's all funded by the listeners. Well, 90% of it is. I think the government portion of that, their endowment to reliable and independent news sources should be greater. And a lot of democracies, especially in Europe, do that. If Britain can do it with the BBC, America can also do it. But that's wicked, being able to investigate a crash scene of a man-made aircraft on an asteroid. This isn't the kind of stuff I normally see in the regular news. Let's add the regular news. Let's add. Let's try min post. No, 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 no. I think I have a better one. And you can't do this with every website anymore. But there are workarounds where you can collect all that information in an automated way and turn it into an RSS feed that works just fine here or on My Yahoo. So bring me the news. Odd name, but that is the website, which has a Flipboard link, but doesn't seem to have RSS. That's odd. Maybe if I hit the N key, go all the way down. Nope. Nope. Not it. Back to min post. End key. RSS. More sites need to do this again. And you can all experiment with this if you want. You can, if you have Linux, get Akregator off of FlatHub, or if you have Windows, you can search for Akgregator. It's an open source piece of software. The code is by volunteers. The software is made by volunteers. That's why open source is awesome, because it's free and freedom. But sometimes you're going to get a little error message, because this appears to be the RSS feed for the whole site, which just throws my browser for a little loop-de-loop. So I'm going to copy that, Alt-Tab back into Akgregator, and see if I can add to all feeds feed. They blanked out the feed page, the RSS feed page here. But the Star Tribune has it. Maybe. Will it work? That happened yesterday. The RSS feed works for Star Tribune, and it even gives each article a summary. It will not show you the whole article, but for a quick glance, this is good enough. And you don't have to have a subscription to get the information here. There's a button that'll fetch the information on the feed or all feeds at once if you so desire. You can export all of your feeds into one file that you can send to another machine and have all your news set up over there. If you're like in an extended trip in another country and you're using like a business work computer or something like that. But how about that weather? Let's see if we can get the information directly from the source and channel it into the RSS feed reader. That, according to the National Weather Service, the source for all your American weather information, which also, by the way, NOAA, the National Weather Service, FEMA, they came together and made the last great invention in America, which I'm going to cover at some point in some way. Maybe not on this channel, but on one of my other two. Yeah, I have two other YouTube channels. I have three total channels. The newest one is Fun with Numbers. But I think that will be on my main Clark Macbeth YouTube channel. But where was I with that? Going with that? Oh yeah. Donald Trump would privatize, defund, and make paywalls around getting the weather forecast if he wins, which completely ew levels of un-American. But I would like to zoom in a bit here. We have some forecast information, but I can also get the weather information into Akgregator, the RSS reader that I can get lots of critical information in with and have it load like that. Even with the dial-up internet connection, I can get lots of relevant information very quickly with Akgregator. A lot faster than if I used My Yahoo or went to every single website one by one. A quick overview before I can do something productive like make videos like this. That's Pog, right? It did not like that. Actually, let me go all the way through and see if that's going to do. Nope. But where there's a will, there is a way. Maple Grove weather RSS feed. Weather.com. Does not have it. Here's an article for Make Use of. Let me double check. How old is this article anyway? It doesn't appear to say. There is, however, a service called rssweather.com, so I will see if that still works. Might give a little hint. What was that? I'm getting way off track here. So, that article appears to have aged a bit, but it did give me an URL for My Yahoo. All I got to do here is make a quick change here. Hit the end key. And put in the zip. Oh my god, I feel so stupid. It was at weather.gov/RSS. Ah. Alright, so after clicking around, I figured some stuff out. Weather.gov/RSS, please. And what I'm going to do is zoom in so I can see better. There is a page for watches and warnings and advisory, but you have to enter your area or state. So I did this for Minnesota already, but now I'm going to do it for the weather forecast itself and have a feed reader that keeps saving a log of all the weather forecasts so we can see over time just how accurate that is. Or have a weather almanac of sorts. So here are the weather observations as observed by aircraft and airports and stuff, government equipment, and if you go over here to select a state, I live in Minnesota. It says those are all the XML feeds of it. Find. And one of their observatories is in Minneapolis, and I know this is the one closest to me as far as airports are concerned. So what I'm going to do is go to this line, right click, accept no. I'm going to have the link itself, not the link to the image that just says RSS. That would be kind of pointless, right? You do agree that this is a rather pointless thing to do, right? It just says RSS. I'll even move it around. It just says RSS. Crystal Airport. Link. And finally, we are going to add that and get the Crystal Airport weather forecast in Akregator. And I want my weather almanac of sorts. And I don't know what parts of this are going to have, if this is going to have observed weather and the forecast, or just the forecast. If it has both, then great thing to have. And I can see why a political party whose entire thing is gaslighting and spreading fear and making people distrust their own memories and what their leader, Donald Trump, says. Unless it's convenient for him, I could see why Project 2025, which is the Trump agenda, would want to cut all the funding for the National Weather Service. Anyway, I'm going to keep all the articles. Click OK. Here it is. And that's just going to keep rolling in over time. Crystal Airport. Conditions. Image. Summary. I think you get the idea. Now, when I wake up in the morning after filling in my gratitude journal, putting on NPR classical or a jazz playlist and sipping down an instant latte, I'll just get this, a quick summary of everything I would like to know in one place, and if I have time to read all this stuff, or even some of the stuff I want to read, I can just, double click, and it happened on my other screen, but it'll open up another window with a browser with an explanation of the article, and I can just click that and read it just fine. There you go. That's Akgregator in a nutshell. I did also put a podcast in here to see if it would play. But if I go up and into full screen mode and double click that, it's gonna take me to some kind of site. I'm gonna reject its cookies. You don't know what's in those things, really. And it'll play like that. I'm not sure if that same feed, if I put it in a podcast app. By the way, RSS and XML are the basis. They are the technology that distributes every single podcast ever. So that's what Akregator does with at least that podcast. I'm not sure about all of them though, but I will leave it at that. And you know there's going to be an episode about podcast software coming. So thank you all for watching this video, sticking around, and sharing in the experience of the open source toy that is Akregator. And as always, subscribe if you like, and share if you care. There it is, just the way I like it. Surely there's a way to make automations out of this, right?